to the She Sold AZ Group Collective. We are introducing you on a 12-week mini-series of real estate investing, what it means, and a little education to bring to the market, right? And we're bringing in some friends, Patricia Josen with EXP and She Sold AZ Group, and we have Tim Regan with Movement Mortgage coming through. Today, on week 1, we are discussing house hacking and who it's for. This is a really great subject because I want you to know that if you've been thinking about real estate investing, it doesn't necessarily have to be aggressive in going into the market and purchasing an actual house. It can look like anything. And I want you to write this down. House hacking is a way to make supplemental income during your current living situation. So think renting a room, think, AUDs or renting a guest house. But today specifically on house hacking, we're going to be discussing with Tim and Patricia some of what you can get into a home utilizing an owner occupancy mortgage. So thank you so much, you guys, Tim and Patricia.
Yes, well, thank you so much for the introduction, Jessica. I would love to ask you a couple questions about house hacking and especially on the financing side of house hacking. But to start us off, who would you say is the ideal house hacking buyer?
Ooh, great question. And I love that you're coming in hot too. The ideal buyer is you, actually, or right? Anybody who is looking to start into real estate investing and learning what that is, because really it's a mindset. And if you're ready to start into that mindset, it's maybe a younger generation as well. Somebody, right? Can you back me up on this?
No, you're going exactly what I would say is when you look at the landscape of first-time buyers, first-time home buyer age is pushing 40 years old, right? Affordability is this big word that's out there around housing and lifestyle in general.
Right.
And house hacking is a perfect way to, yes, either create supplemental income, but also offset your expense is the other side of that coin of how you look.
And to get into active, there's different ways of that type of investing. But it's an introduction for active investing. And usually it's more of the younger generation, people who have time to stretch out, right, their living situation and how that looks. So
have roommates.
Have roommates, right?
Yeah, that's
purchasing a house, renting out your rooms, going to college is a perfect way to start with that as well.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for bringing up first-time home buyers. I know that that's a topic that often, but I am curious about what types of programs are available for first-time home buyers or anyone interested in house hacking.
Yeah, I mean, really, I would say all of them. There's a lot of programs. So when you look at whether it's your standard conventional, your FHA, your VA, technically is truly trying to be a first-time investor, whether it's a debt service of the rents you can collect off of a property to qualify. There's a lot of different programs. Primarily, when you get into house hacking, what you'll see is someone who is planning to go buy their primary house anyways, but they don't want to foot the bill for the entirety of that mortgage payment, and so they'll take on someone to rent a room or rent the ADU or casita or mother-in-law suite, whatever. And in some cases, you're also seeing where they're buying
a duplex,
a
duplex, right?
Yeah.
A triplex, up to a fourplex, actually, where this can go into real estate investing, where you can really start to move and collecting dollars.
Yeah, and a couple years ago, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac completely changed the game around this, in my opinion, when they changed their guidelines to allow a buyer to buy up to a 4-unit property with as little as 5% down.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, when you talk about wealth accumulation, and house hacking, and really getting your foot in the door in real estate, that is a huge change. The stats are somewhere along the lines of somebody who owns one door, roughly their net worth is 250,000 ish. Once you get into owning 2 doors, you're crossing the millions. You get to 4 doors, you it's not a matter of if, it's when you become a multimillionaire through real estate. So it's a huge game changer in my opinion.
Yes, and I do want to remind everybody that investments into markets are always, there's always a risk. So definitely want to be sure to reiterate, to talk to your professional, do your due diligence before making any investments. But
She's a professional.
regards to house hacking, right, and being able to jump into that, as we discussed before, it could be a single family residence.
Absolutely.
It could be a person who is looking for a duplex into a fourplex. As long as you're able, and what you're comfortable in doing and how you're able to move into that direction, and you know, but it all takes with calling, right? Making sure you call your professional, making sure you click the link in bio and schedule a complimentary consultation with one of us, because it's important for people and first-time home buyers and people who are looking to build legacy, right?
Absolutely.
Build long-term wealth. It's important for you to take that step.
I would just say a very real world example of it you see here all the time. We're in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Tempe area. You absolutely see students buy housing in the Tempe area. Maybe their parents co-sign for them, or they buy a house and create a scenario where they're paying the student has qualified with the parent to buy the house and rents out those rooms to roommates. Those are very real world scenarios that we see all the time here in this area, and it's a great way to start the wealth creation. The earlier you can start it, the better, for sure.
Right, because it's the mindset,
Yeah.
right? You're getting yourself in learning that having tenants, right,
Yes.
and being able to keep up your property and make sure things are running smoothly until you're able to accumulate enough doors, as we like to call it. Then we structure it differently and we start to bring things into LLC, which it will save for another week. But I don't know. Did we answer any more your questions? Should we do one more question, or do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this conversation that we're having is really speaking to me and the younger generation, particularly because real estate investing is something that we're not taught in schools. So I think that just hearing from your firsthand experience is extremely helpful. But I'm curious how you mentioned, Tim, that rental income can be used as far as qualifying for the purchase of a home. Could you speak on that?
Yeah, so in certain scenarios, yes, right? So if you're buying a multi-unit, 2, 3, 4-unit, there are ways to utilize the rents to qualify. And then if you're using something like a DSCR loan, you're using all the rent to qualify by its entirety. You're not using any of your own income. You don't even have to have an income technically, as long as the property services its own debt, meaning it takes in enough rent to pay what that mortgage payment is.
Right, and those types of programs are really, really useful for real estate investors, but also you have to understand there's a higher down payment, right? So you're going to have to put down at least a 20% down.
Minimum,
right?
yeah.
Minimum.
On a DSCR, yes, you do get into, you need higher down payments. You want it to pencil, meaning you want to make sure you're looking at properties that can actually rent for more than what that mortgage payment will be. When you're buying a 2 to 4 unit and you're using more traditional financing, it's a little bit different, where you're typically you will be using your W-2 income, or in the case I explained with a parent and a child, you're maybe using the parent's income. The child doesn't always have to have an income, but you're using an income source to qualify for that loan,
Okay.
right? And then the rental income on a 2 to 4 unit would just be able to offset the expense. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if someone wants to get their real estate investing journey started today, where would you say that they would have to start? What is the first step?
I think so as a lender, I'd say call me. as a realtor, you might say call you. But
Well, no,
either way, it's reaching out to an
either way, it starts with clicking the link in bio and scheduling your consultation, making the taking action into moving forward. And if this conversation sparked something, then definitely comment below and give us a call. Let us know what your thoughts are. We're happy to know. Until then, you guys, thank you so much. I think we'll be back maybe next week and we'll discuss another topic on real estate investing. But in regards to house hacking, this is where it's at, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.